Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to work on this tree here. This is one that I worked on just a few videos ago and kind of cleaned it up a little bit, took some wire off of it, uh, did some pruning, kind of got it back into shape a little bit. It was leaning forward and all sorts of stuff, but I'll show you a little clip up here of that video. Then I'll also link it down below or at the end of this video, up in the right hand corner. You can click on that or check the link below. But when I finished it, I didn't put any new wire on it. Thought it looked okay, and I still think it looks okay, but the more it was sitting on my shelf and looking at it, I think it would be better if I repositioned some of these branches with some wire. So that's what we're going to do today. I was just going to do it, but I thought I would bring you guys along and just kind of show you a little bit of wiring on this little portulacaria afra, and this is a lilliput version, so the leaves are small. But so for the tools today, I've got a couple diameters of wire. This is probably a 1 mil and maybe a 2 mil wire. I've got my wire cutters, have a pair of needle nose pliers. I'm not sure I'll need those, but always like to have those handy. And then have my pruning shears, but don't think I'll need those, but we'll see what it looks like after. But the main things are wire cutters, and that should be just about it. And I'll link some of that material down below too if you're just starting out, kind of looking, where you can find supplies and stuff. But anyway, so we'll get started here. I think I like this branch over here, this little, how it kind of comes up and then droops down. And then what I don't like are these, this drooping line kind of comes like this, and then these branches here almost kind of parallel that, so it just looks odd to me. It didn't when I first worked on the tree. Maybe it did to some of you guys, but sometimes it looks different in the camera. And like I said, I set it back on the shelf, and it was just bugging me. So I think what I'm going to try to do is bring this one down a little bit so it has a little bit more of a droop to it. Bring this one down, and then also work on the top here. I've got this vertical one here that's not, it's pretty short. So if I take this other branch away, you can see it's just a little short stubby branch there, kind of pointing vertical. So I'll have to see what I want to do. I don't think I can bend that one. I can bend it a little bit, but I may just remove that and work on this back here, but we'll get there. So starting out, I think I'll work on this lower one. So this lower one here, I've got two branches. It comes up here, kind of forks off, which I don't hate. Just gives me more front to back depth to work with, but I think I need to bring this branch down here just a little bit to work with it. So get a piece of wire. I'm not going to use real thick wire. I mean, this one's going to be plenty. And the way you can check that is just take a piece of wire, and if you can push down on the branch you're trying to bend and the wire doesn't bend, that means it'll hold it. So this is the really small wire. I think it's either a 1 or 1.5 mil, like I said. So and then usually get it about, I'm just going to anchor it maybe to this branch here, maybe one wind around the trunk and then down on this branch. So I usually give myself, about a third longer than what I think I need, because I'm going to lose a little bit. As you wind, it just gets shorter. So I think that's going to give me enough. It's better to have a little bit too much than not enough, because it's very difficult to stretch this wire. Let's see. So let's go here. And like I said, this one over here is just to anchor it in. Some of these trees are a little difficult to work with because they're so small. Get my big hands in here. I think that'll do me there. Just enough to get it anchored. And then come around the trunk and up over this branch. And then just start winding it around. And I'm just working on bending this upper branch, so that's all I'm wiring. And when I'm wiring these really young branches, I don't go very tight at all. And let me kind of show you what I mean by that. So take this as the branch, and when I'm wiring it, I kind of hold the wire in place, but I almost take it and spin it without even touching the branch almost, and then try to get it as tight as I can without, like, not really as tight as I can, but tight enough to where I can manipulate the branch, but it's not too tight. Like on this, I didn't hardly even touch the stick, and this wire will just slide right off. So hopefully that helped a little bit on the visual, but let me try it again without the stick. You know, this is black wire, but hopefully the light shining on it, you can still see it a little bit. But I almost try to wire without even, it's kind of hard because it doesn't anchor, it's spinning in my hands, but hope you get the point to where I'm just anchoring it at the bottom, which is kind of on the trunk. Then I'm almost just spinning it without even putting a whole lot of pressure on the branch. So hopefully that made sense. And that I do that mostly on these portulacaria because it's very brittle when they're this young. I just get enough wire loops down the branch to where I can manipulate it. Kind of go over the top there at the end. Try not to smash any leaves in it, but sometimes you can't help it. So there's some wire on it, so I should be able to, and when I bend it, I just kind of hold the wire. I push upward pressure with this finger and just pull it down. So I'm just kind of doing that. And then just kind of bring that down a little bit so it has more of a little droop. I think I want to bring this part up and then down. Yeah. That looks a little better. It kind of mirrors what's happening over on this side. So this one kind of comes up and down. This one kind of comes up and then back down. I could probably even bring that up a little higher before I bring it down. Yeah, something like that maybe. But once I get done with the rest of the tree, I might reposition those, but I want to bring this one down too, but I don't think I want to use wire to, so as far as anchoring that one, I may just have to, I may be able to anchor it on this back branch. Just don't know if I'm going to be able to do much with this vertical branch here. I think I might have to just remove that, but and I may just use a little hook to bring that one down. But let's get this one positioned first. So another small piece of wire here. Let's see where I'm going to anchor it. Yeah, I'll just start here and see if that, cut it off about there just to give myself plenty. I had some other wire on here in the last video that I took off, and it bit into the trunk a little bit, so I'm trying to avoid putting it in the same grooves where that wire was, just so those grooves can heal up a little bit. I'll put that in over here. Bring this one here. I'm kind of doing the same thing, just really not even hardly putting pressure on the branch, just getting some wire around here that I can use to bend it. Another way to practice this is when you're pruning your trees, you know, if you get a cutting off of it, you know, so long, you can just practice wiring one of those. So if it breaks, it's not, doesn't hurt your tree at all. So just bend that one down. I'll go ahead and take this excess wire off. So we've got that kind of drooping down now. There we go. And then this guy up here, I think I might just use the little hook method that I mentioned in a previous video. To when I've got smaller branches and it's a little more dense up here, sometimes I'll just create a little hook with the wire to pull that down. So it's as simple as just making a little hook on one end there, and then just looping it up over the top, and then finding some place to anchor it down. So I'm just going to wrap it around this trunk here. So I'll give myself enough down here to do that. And then kind of position that branch to where I want it. Try to look at it from the front. You can even look at it like that. You can kind of pull it down to what you think. I think that'll work. Something like that. And then just bend this end up and create your hook on the other side. It's a little bit long, so I'll just cut that off. So at the end of the day, all I did was create a hook on one end and then create a hook on the other end. So it's like that. And then just hook over top branch and then put this on your anchor branch down below. And like I said, sometimes I do that just to, because this branch is really thin. If you can see how thin that branch is, it's pretty young, so those are a little more difficult to wire. I think I might have brought it down a little bit too far though. And then it's easy to take off and reposition too. So I'm just going to make this top hook a little bit shorter, which will lengthen it up. And then back around the lower one. There. that'll work. I think that's a little better. A little bit of wire hanging down here. Go get rid of that. Just looking at it from all sides here. And now that it, this one's still sticking up, but almost all kind of blends in there. So I think just the curve on it will work. Now I've got my branches drooping down a little bit more, which is kind of what I was looking for. I could probably bring this little guy back here down, because I'd like to have a little bit of open space in here. See if I can bring that up a little bit, maybe extend this hook out a little bit more. Yeah. And that way I've got a little gap in there. Could bring that down a little bit, I suppose. Yeah, I think that it helped a little bit. Just kind of gives more movement, so I didn't have those straight, where this branch over here, and then remember this branch was sticking straight out, but now it kind of comes up and down, so I like that a little better. So then it kind of completes that more, that triangle, so if you kind of draw lines here, you got that little triangle shape. This one can get a little bit longer, maybe. I think when I was styling it, I thought it looked better being a little longer on this side, which it still is. But we'll kind of see how it develops. But I think that's going to just about do it. Like I said, just a short video, just kind of showing you. Thought I'd bring you along, showing you how I wire a tree up and just kind of change the shape a little bit and kind of refine it just a little bit more. But what I'm doing now, I see this branch, it's almost coming back a little bit, so I think I want to move that a little forward. So I just give myself an anchor spot and then bend it a little forward there. So so it just comes towards the viewer a little bit, but still gives me that curve shape that I'm looking for. Yeah. So then kind of looking at it from the side, it's got the front to back, because this one I brought forward a little bit because it was kind of parallel with that branch. So now you can see this branch and they fork off a little bit. Could probably bring that one up. Just trying to see what that looks like from the front. That might look better if it was up a little bit. So I think I'll do that real quick. I'm just going to use the hook method again, just to, so I've got a decent trunk up here to hold it. It's not like it's going to add a lot of tension, because there's nothing to that branch. It's not going to take a whole lot to move it up. So I think I will just create this little loop here. more towards the back. It's not quite as noticeable. Get it in there. There we go. And then see how far I want to bring this up. Now I can go ahead and cut some of this off. And kind of hold your branch where you want it and bend it up. Yeah. Bring it down just a little bit. There we go. I think I will trim a little bit of that off just to keep it more on that same plane. Yeah, I think that'll work. So there, I've got a little more movement, happy with it. I think I will leave it there. All right, let me give you a quick spin around. There's the front. There's the left side. There's the back. Right side. And back to the front. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.